a bit noisy tonight. I'm going to have the fan on because it's really hot. Okay, let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. I think that'll do. Hope I'm live. I can't tell. I couldn't see on my channel if I'm live or not. If I'm not live. If I'm live, please just give me like a yes. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Thank you. Hey, Donnie. Hey, Keel. Okay, so welcome. Hey, Ben. Thanks, guys. So before I start, welcome. And just a few things. If you'd like to donate a couple of pounds for this talk, I'd be very grateful. And thank you for those who do. It really helps me out a lot. And what else? My new book is now on Kindle. Yeah, I did that this week. And also, I have a Wednesday night chat group. That's a private chat group for anyone who's interested in that. And hey, Paul. And also, the last Saturday of every month, normally I do a webinar, which is also a private webinar. There's not many people can go on it because it's quite small. Then it gives everyone a chance to speak. And yeah, so every last Saturday of the month. And what else? Oh yeah, I offer one-to-one sessions. If you want to go into more detail discussing this crazy subject, which isn't a subject, you can get in touch with me on my website. I think everything will be below the video, but I'm not sure because this is all new for me, this platform. Okay. If you come to this talk with the hope of leaving with something, hey Joe, with the hope of getting something, hey lovely, leaving with something, finding something, you've come to the wrong place. This talk, which we call non-duality, but really it hasn't got a name, is not a teaching. I'm not here to teach anybody anything. And one of the reasons is because it's already perfect. It's already done, even though it may appear as not being perfect. This is not a path. This is not a fix for the story of the me. The story of the me can't get fixed by this message. And in that way, it can be very frustrating for the person. If you can call it a reason, the only reason I speak about this subject is because I love it. And what is there not to love about life? I don't mean the things within life, the forms of life, like people and animals and tables. It's not life as found in things. It's the entirety of this life, which is this. And the freedom is not found in the things. There's nothing in the things to be found. Whether it's some sort of abstract idea that there's an aliveness I have to see, or if there's something to find in the thing itself which will give me something. That's the more spiritual path, isn't it? Like meditation and all that stuff. We're all doomed. We are all doomed. Every human is doomed. Every human's going to get killed one way or another. And that's okay. Because we won't know when that happens. We won't know we're dead. Like when the sense of self is no longer here, there's nobody left to know that they're dead. You could say that the person dies, but it doesn't really die, because it was never alive. It was never born. It was never a person. It was, well, it didn't even really happen, because all that's left now is a memory of an apparent person called Lisa, but it never happened, because that memory is this. That memory is this. The me is this. Tomorrow is this. Yesterday is this. Everything that is here. It's not outside of here in time. It didn't happen in time. It's happening here. Kind of. So I'm not here to help the person. There's plenty of people who help the person. Thousands upon thousands of them. Telling the person what they can do to feel better, to become free, to become enlightened. There's thousands of them. And I'm not here for that. I'm here just to say that everything you're looking for is already here, is this, even if it's appearing as a me. Excuse me. Ironically, it's very hot. Ironically, the me is everything you're looking for, appearing as me. But from that construct of a person, it can never see that from the perspective of a person. It's always looking for a way out of itself. This message is not going to help that person find a way out of itself, because it's not a self. It's life appearing as a self. It's not separate. There's no separate person. There's just life appearing as a person. So it can never find a way out of that, because it's not operating from a person. It's an appearance. And also in this appearance, there can be this message being spoken that makes that causes or seems to cause that apparent me to collapse. And it's not a cause and effect thing. Everything just happens simultaneously. Life is just happening simultaneously, and it's not being done by anybody. There's not a person saying these words. There's not a person who knows these words. These words are appearing out of nothing. They seem like they're appearing out of a person, but they're not. They're appearing out of nothing. The same as everything else, every other appearance. It's just appearing out of nothing. There's nobody looking out of the eyes. There's nobody looking out of those eyes. There's just something saying, I'm looking out of the eyes. Without that appearance of a person, there's just, well, whatever's appearing. There's not even looking out of the eyes anymore, because that has to be, well, no, there's no looking out of the eyes. There's not even any longer any hearing. There's just sound. There's just light. It's just dark. Apparent things. Hi, Kiyohi. Oh, from Japan. Ah, konnichiwa. O genki desu ka? No. Is that right? O genki desu ka? Only a few phrases, because I visited Japan a few years ago, so I learned a few phrases. I've forgotten most of them, but I remember like O genki desu ka, konnichiwa, sumimasen, sayonara, nani? It's a beautiful language. Beautiful. Beautiful country. Amazing people. Loved it. I'd love to go back, but it's very expensive. Hi, Sheila. And what is aware of seeing, sound, etc.? Nothing. You'd have to find that which is aware. Is there anything really aware of it, or is there just sound appearing? Do you have to go to awareness to see that there is awareness? That's an imagination thing. Awareness is part of the sense of self. Ben, does motivation arise in you? Motivation. Not really. Movement happens. Movement happens or laziness happens. Motivation. No, not really, no. I guess I could interpret it as interest arises. Yeah. But there's no motivation, not really. Is it the brain that causes all the confusion of the apparent me because it can't help but feel so separate? As a story, I do think that me happens in the brain, but it becomes contracted and energetic because it's so believed that it becomes all contracted like this and self-conscious but I don't really know. I don't think anyone really knows. We can just surmise and ponder. But really, it's just life. Appearing as a me. One dog again. If I wave at it, there we go. A little bit closer. Oh, thanks, Ben. Not sure if I was any use. I'm no use to the me at all. At all. Brain. Hey, Paul. I can only think of it in story, because when I think about this feeling of separation that was in this body, it felt like it was psychological. Also, it was kind of physiological as well. It was just like this whole reality that was exhausting. Exhausting. It was like being utterly deluded. Like the body was basically possessed by something called Lisa. Like it felt like it was in control, that it had a life, had all these fears and doubts and insecurities and suffering, stories, so many stories about itself, about its past and future. It felt like it was totally in possession here, like there was somebody looking behind the eyes and didn't want anyone looking at it, you know? Don't see me. When that collapsed, it's just like it just kind of goes, just ends really. It just kind of dissipates. And that can happen instantly or it can happen slowly. Here it happened overnight. There's no rules for that. It seems normally it seems to happen more slowly, if you can call it normally. Doesn't happen much, does it? I have seen it happen though, over the last 3 years of speaking like this. I've seen the transformation of a person into a no person quite a few times now. It's funny. I says, yeah, it feels like a mental illness. Yeah, it feels like a mental illness. Yeah, that's what I remember it as. Felt like a mental illness. I mean, the me makes up all sorts of stories about freedom. All sorts of magical, wonderful, golden stories. When what it's looking for and will never find, because it is it, the looking for is the thing that's being looked for, but can never be seen. What it's looking for is right in its face. It's right under your nose. You'll kick yourself when it becomes obvious. And you can write to me and go, oh my God, it was right here. It was right here. It's here. It's this. What you're looking for is this. Has never gone anywhere. It's never left. And it never arrived. Maybe I should ask some questions. Sheila, did you have a glimpse of this as an experience before it dissolved completely? Oh, yeah, but in retrospect, it seemed like an experience, but it was actually a glimpse of no experience. Many glimpses of no experience, which was very frustrating when the sense of self came back. Yeah. Yeah, it was happening a lot actually. In the last months, in the last weeks, it was happening a lot. It was exhausting actually. It was hard to function at all. Ah. It's happening to you, right? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It's like being in some sort of crazy dream. But the me is the crazy dream. It's like waking up from a dream, but no one wakes up. It's the end of a dream. So weird. Yeah, it is really weird. And then it goes, and then like everything is just really weird because it's in free fall. It's just got no stability to it anymore. Stability is a function of the brain, puts everything in perspective. Everything is nicely and so obvious. I know, right? And I say this all the time. Like, you're just gonna go, because it's just like, it's right here. And when I was speaking earlier about, I'm not here to help the me, I'm not here to give any advice, any teaching, any therapy. All I'm really doing is sitting here saying, what you're looking for is this. It's right here. But then the separate self is back, and I go, what the fuck? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you also go, where's it gone? Because ironically, it doesn't go anywhere. What happens is the person seems to come back. It doesn't really come back. It's just there, and it feels like it's lost something. Because the person lives in the solidity of the illusory solidity of time. And it has to have that in order to be that. It is like the illusion of time appearing as me. It's because it lives in the dream of time. Lisa, what do you mean when you say there are no we? I mean, each human has its own sense and perceptions. Or when people are conversing with each other, this is we, isn't it? I'm talking really about when people say we as a collection of me's. You could say we, the human race, or we as a group. When I think I know what you mean, that talk. Someone was saying, but we are, but there's no we, there's no group of persons. So I'm talking about that really. The same as like everybody calls themselves I, even though there's no I there, whether it's there or not. The human's going to call itself I. It needs to give itself a name, I. And so, I would say if there was a group of people, I'd say shall we go out? Excuse me. But I think sometimes the person thinks we as a collective of me's. There is no collection of me's. There's no we in that respect. There's only life happening. Just life happening. Hi, CDD. This illusion is dense, thick as a brick. It appears like that, yeah. It appears impossible to get out of, and it is impossible to get out of. It's a hamster running around in an illusory ball. It's never going to get out. It's like a hamster's ball that has no door. But the whole thing is illusory, and it can't never get out of it. That's why it seems thick and impenetrable. Because there is no way out of it for the person. Because the person is a complete illusion in itself. It's either fully person or nothing at all. You can't have partial person. The story can weaken, of course. The story can weaken for the person. But that's why it can't find it. Even if the story's totally not there, the sense of separation might still be there. I was saying the other day that the difference between a recognition and a glimpse and the complete dissolution of the me. Excuse me, it's really hot. A recognition and a glimpse is one thing. But when the sense of self goes, it just totally goes. Just totally disintegrates. Back to where it came from. Nothing. It was never anything to start with. SS, I think it takes time for the brain to process all the illusion it believed all the years. Yes, I think so. Yeah, because that sense of self becomes more contracted, doesn't it? Unless it does a lot of work on itself, where it becomes more easy, an easier me, a more relaxed me. But it seems to get, like as a child, it was less contracted, and then as a teenager, it started getting more contracted, didn't it? Then adulthood, and then the seeker arrives, the seeker of liberation, because it gets sick of it, doesn't it? This person, this seeker, gets sick of seeking. It wants an end to it. I want out of here. But it can't get out because it's the hamster in the hermetically sealed ball. It's not getting out. This message is heard, but it's not by the hamster. It's heard by nothing. It's just sounds. There's an energy. It's not coming from this human. The energy is within the words, and that is heard. Hi, Synchronizador. Can what is be known? No. How do you know? I don't know. There's no one left to know. So I don't know. I don't know that it can't be known. And I don't know that it can be known. There is neither of those things. I don't know. And I don't not know. There's no knowing left here. Knowing's gone. It says nothing is known. No, nothing's known. Nothing's not known either. There's just no knowing. Knowing's gone. Knowing's gone. Experience is gone. Stories have gone. Neurosis is gone. Problems, kind of neurotic problems gone. Doesn't mean that the situations don't arise that cause emotions, but that's different. They just happen and go. Don't stick around. Nothing sticks around anymore. Hi, Em. You're welcome, CDD. Joe says, don't panic. No, Joe, I'm not panicking. I've got my towel. Still no one has got my reference. Every time Joe says, don't panic, to my towel. Come on, must be some sci-fi fans out there. Who gets that reference? It says, Joe makes me panic every time you say that. Need to get a towel. Lovely. Inconceivable. Utterly inconceivable. There's no one left to conceive what is apparently happening. That's why it's inconceivable. Because conceiving things, I don't mean cognizing, conceiving, conceptual conceiving happens in the person. This, what I'm talking about, is absolute free flow. No conceiving of anything, absolute free flow. There'll be cognizing of things, there'll be understanding things, like understanding how a recipe comes together. That's the machine of the brain, you know, working. Listen, I like the new webcam quality. Yeah, it's not even really a new webcam. It's just a different function within YouTube. I was using Google Hangout, and now I'm using something else. Synchronizador. Knowing would be it. Yes, yes, yes. Everything is what is apparently happening. The me is what is apparently happening. Everything you're looking for is already apparently happening. That's why you can never get it, because it has no solidity, has no steady state. The me wants a steady state. It wants an end to its journey. It wants an end to the journey. It thinks it's on a path to getting somewhere because it lives in the illusion of time. It wants an end to that. But the path and the me and the journey and time are all synonymous. They're the same package. It's a package deal. All inclusive. Lucy Supernova. That's the name. Spontaneous. Yeah, utterly. For nobody. Utterly spontaneous. Free. It's free. This is not freedom for somebody. This is not me coming to the end of my package deal. Getting off the cruise. Whew. The end of the path. There's no end to the path. There was never a path. The whole path, time, seeking thing is all an illusory construct, a story that's believed in. Synchronizador. When knowing is look upon, it doesn't have borders, nor a beginning or an end can be found. It's like God. I don't understand the first bit, sorry. When knowing is look upon. Well, this doesn't have a border or an end. It doesn't have an end. It doesn't have a beginning. It's absolutely boundless. Some people call it God. But knowing is part of the boundlessness. But there's no knowing here. The knowing ended. It's freedom from knowing. Knowing's a burden. a burden, the me burden, is knowing's part of that. It's part of that package deal I was talking about. CDD. I have noticed that this brain has only past and future thoughts. This covers up the present moment. Those are the present moment. The past and the future are this. So the brain is having thoughts about things which are not this, but they are this. It's actually not covering up the present moment. It is it. This is the conundrum, you see. It's always trying to separate everything out. Past, present. What is it? Oh, your past, future, present moment. It's separating them all out. But they're not separate. They're all this. Fan, says Joe. Yeah, I have a fan on behind me, but I can't have it too thin because my hair will be going like this. So I've got it coming down here. It's nice. Synchronize it all. Without knowing, there is no experience. How come there is no experience? Well, what is experience? It sounds like death. Yes. Yes. But it's also life. That death, what it does, when that's gone, it brings everything to life. Everything comes to life that was never seen before. Everything becomes fresh and all alive. And that is not obvious when there is the seeking of experience or the belief that there is experience. I mean, go have a look for what experience is. Can you find it? What is real anyway? Yeah. I mean, can you find experience? What even is it? Experience is conceptual. It's not real. Is it memory experience? Or is it a memory? Is it a thought? Is it a picture? Is a feeling experience or is it a feeling? This can't be experienced. There's no room for it. Because experience is a visor that covers over the aliveness, even though it is the aliveness. Excuse me. Hey, Prem. Just what is. Yeah. Yeah. Just what is. But the self, it just tries to look for the shinies within what is. It's looking for the freedom. Is what is real? It's beyond real and unreal. It just is. But it can't be known what it is. It's actual, but it's always moving and changing, isn't it? Is it real? Is it not real? I think it's just beyond that. It's just beyond it. These concepts get us bogged down. And we start looking for the real, start looking for the unreal. CDD, thank you. You described this beautifully. I only had the glimpse, but I remember it well. Yeah. And that glimpse is here, isn't it? It's this. The remembering is this. The glimpse is this. It didn't happen in the past. It's all landing, just landing here. Fantastic. Hey, you're the sun. What you're saying is true in some sense, but isn't it only one perspective of what's happening to say there's only what's happening? Could you say there are limitless numbers of ways to perceive? Apparently, but I would never know that. Apparently. So people say, but I would never know that. Because I just wouldn't know that. Here it's only this. And there, it's whatever it is there. But I would never know that. I would never know what it is to be another human. I just wouldn't. So I don't know. Ooh. Just going to move this a bit. Such as there's just what's happening, but within that perspective. Oh, I just read that. Oh no. Just that there's just what's happening, but within that perspective are an infinite number of perspectives. I don't know. There's no perspective here. I know what I'm saying is like impossible to imagine. Because you can't. You can't imagine no perspective. There's no perspective. This human, which is just this noises coming out of the mouth, thoughts, feelings when they happen, has no perspective. Has no location. No location here. There's no feeling of a location. It's absolute freefall. And it's beautiful. But not beautiful for anybody. So I don't know about perspective. Perspective was lost here. People say that this is like a change in perspective, but I just don't know. There's just room happening. There's just hands happening. There's just voice happening. There's just words happening. And none of them are coming out of anybody. The room's not coming out of anybody. The words aren't coming out of anybody. What is there? There's no perspective. Perspective is the me looking out of the eyes. I have perspective. I guess in that way, I guess that would be true. That every human has. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. So I hear anyway. That's all I can say. What can I say? It says, yeah, what's real anyway? Everything is coming and going. Yeah. Except this. This is alive life, changing form all the time, changing form, never moving. Has this ever moved? This is a question to everybody. If you answer it or not, it doesn't matter. Has this ever moved? Has it ever not been here? Has there ever been anything else? Ever? Did it ever arrive? Did this ever arrive? I'd like to see what you say. Hi, Stephen from Seattle. Why all this? Why all this? I don't understand that question, sorry. There is no why. Stephen, only the person that needs a perspective. Yeah. I found here when it was the end of the person, it was the end of perspective, location, time, space, person, death. Listen, isn't to say there's no perspective just another perspective, though? Is it a perspective? Is saying the sky is blue a perspective? Is it saying there's a wall a perspective? That's just how it is here. It's not a perspective. It's not an opinion. It's not a belief. It's not an idea. It's not a concept. There's just sitting in a room apparently happening, and I don't know what that is. That's not a perspective. That's just what's happening. But there's no perspective. There's no... To me, that's a concept. Perspective's a concept. Isn't perspective a bit like an opinion? Listen, this isn't about who has it or who doesn't. It's just that I feel like saying there's just what's happening is only one angle to view reality. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying I know anything. I'm not saying I don't know anything. All I can say is, as I sit here, is that there is only this, and this is what is being looked for, because this is all there is. This is the case. If you want to say that you have a different perspective, that's fine. That's what's happening. I don't really care. I just don't know. How would I know that? Well, any other angle to view reality surely would be what's apparently happening. Stephen, it's about the loss of the need for a perspective. It's just the end of perspective. I can only talk from here. It's either resonated with or it's not. Apart from that, I don't know anything. I'm not saying that I know anything. Okay. I'm saying you can't know the experience of gain without loss. There's no need to know or not know. Do you need to know you're sitting in a room? Just like you can't know dark without light, or what's happening without knowing. Without knowing also is what's not happening. So isn't this message two-sided? Two-sided. You're speaking in duality, because only that's a dual thing you're talking about. Those ideas would only come from the belief or the seeing that there is separation. There's only ever two sides when there's separation, this and that. When it's light, it's just light, right? You'd have to think about light to think about, I'd only know light if it was dark. I don't know if any of that matters. Heal, yeah. I guess of you is just imagined as a me even when me wonders about it. Yeah. Mother Sun, since you can't say there's only what's happening without also perceiving a sense of what's not happening, sorry, I'm going to read that again. Since you can't say there's only what's happening without also perceiving a sense of what's not happening. No, there's no perception. There's no perception. There's no perception. There's probably, if you look, you'll see there's no perception there. Not really. You have to go into thought to see that there's perception. When you're walking around and doing your normal stuff, you don't think there's perception. Perception is like, it's just another me story, perception. I'm perceiving because I'm separate. I'm perceiving that because that's separate. When that whole concept of perception is no longer there, there's no need for perception. Oh, I see. Right. There's no longer a need for all those ideas of perception. Who's looking, who's not looking, who's looking at what. This is the spiritual seeker story, isn't it? That's the spiritual seeker story. Is there perceiving? Is there this? Is there knowing? Is there not knowing? No, there's none of that. There's just sitting in a room apparently happening. All of those things are conceptual things that all happen in the head. None of them are ever going to help you get closer to sitting in a room. Stephen, there is no perspective, just what's happening in emptiness, like your hand waving. Yes! I love it! I love it! Love it! Lovely. It sounds really scary, like you feel alone, because it is only you. No, there is no you. There's no loneliness. There's no loneliness. No loneliness, no boredom. I mean the non-separation thing. No. No, there's no one to be lonely anymore. Or scared of being alone. This is all the feeling of the me. And it feels like that when it's provoked by this message, and also when it's starting to fall away. When it's like with this falling away and coming back, there can be that real fear there. It can be quite scary. It's like it almost perceives its own demise. But when it's not there, no, it's not scary at all. It's beautiful. It's everything the person, the apparent person, has ever looked for. This is what it's looking for. But it never finds it, because it is it. It's a paradox, it's a conundrum. It's definitely a conundrum. Other Sun, I feel like as an artist, you know there are infinite numbers of ways to interpret a painting. So similarly, there are a limitless number of ways to view reality. Yes, but I will never know the other ways, will I? And you will never know the other ways. We will never know them. We could only hear people saying that and going, oh yeah, nice. You see it like that? Okay, that's nice. But we'll never know it. It's possible. There could be millions of parallel universes for all I know. Might be sitting on a bubble on the back of a turtle swimming through space. Who knows? Who knows? Doesn't matter. His life is a beautiful mystery. Of the sun, I feel like saying there's just what's happening is paradoxically freeing, but also limiting. Yeah, because the me wants something else that isn't what's happening. And it's only apparently happening. It's not solid. It's not what we think it is. This is not what we think it is. We think it's set, all laid out in history and future predictions, all nicely laid out, all solid and neatly packaged. When this is recognized, it completely blows all that out of the water. All that nice little package of reality that I thought, I can't say everyone else, I only ever speak from here, just so you know, I don't ever speak from another human's perspective. But when it was seen, when it was recognized here, it blew that whole thing out of the water. And what you're left with is an absolute mystery. And I can't see anything limiting about an absolute mystery. It's only limited if we package it up with the rest of the package. Package it up. Oh, it's just this. How boring. It's not very limited. It's not very interesting. So then we have to go into imagination about other realities and other levels and all this other stuff, which is not what's happening, but it's happening in the head. It's a paradox, Joe. Absolutely. It says the person cannot see this. No, because the person is this. If the person thinks it can see this, it's this, thinking it's a person thinking it's seeing this. This is like absolutely whole. You can't separate anything out. I mean, how can you? If someone could show me something separate, I would like to see it. Lovely. Ha! It's a really crazy, funny, crazy human beings. Yeah. Of the sun. So all my ideas are based on the sense of separation. From my own memory, I would say that would have been true here. Yeah, because I cannot. If I was thinking it from here about something other than what is happening, I would have to go into a dual. It would be coming from a duality. Yeah, it'd be yeah. I would have to say so. Yeah. Because where are these other realities? Where are they? Have you ever seen one? Or has it always been this? And to limit this is just, yeah, it's just because it's not enough, is it? It's not enough. This is not enough for the person. The person runs screaming from this in its little fantasy world. It's like a knife trying to cut itself. I heard that before. I have no idea what it means. I don't get it. Am I the person who doesn't get the joke? Okay, I've got a few minutes left. I actually have to go to bed early tonight. I get up really early, which is really awful. Does anyone get any last things? I can stay for a bit longer if anyone has any last things they want to say. Of the sun, there are other realities you can point to. Okay, can you point me to one then, please? I'd like to see this other reality, which is not this. For example, just like a painting, there are different colors on the canvas, yes? And different perspectives to view from the very same painting. Yes, yes, if you move around, yeah. But isn't that still just this? I don't understand what you're getting at. You can see a painting and you can interpret it this way and that way. Okay, so that is analogous to the idea of viewing what's happening in reality from different angles or perspectives. CDD, thanks. Good night. Off to paint the den. Oh, thanks, CDD. Yeah, but perspective for who? Perspective for who? Say I walk around a mountain and I have a different perspective of the mountain all the way around. But it's still this all the time. It's still just what's happening. It's still just this, but within that, you can take advantage of this by interpreting it in a way that you want. In the way that you want. Interpreting. Yes, you can if you want. Sure. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. There are no rules here. What happens here is there is a question and a response happens. That's it. But I'm not telling you what to do. People can take this any way they like. I don't care. I just love it. I love this discussion. Discussing this is a great, great joy. It's one of my favorite things to do. But I would never tell anybody what to do. Joe, sounds are not what you think they are. No, they're not. The other son, rather than say it's just a painting, there's nobody here to change the perspective from which I'm saying. I can change my angle of what's happening. Yeah, but you can, but it's like, so what? And what's that going to do for you? Where is that going to take you to? I don't understand what would be the benefit of changing an angle on something. This is just my perspective. Yeah, and I respect that. I'm not saying it goes against this paradoxical message you're speaking of. Just saying that it's only one side to look from. I can only, this is how it comes out here. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Because from here, like these words here, to me, they're beautiful because they're just appearing out of nothing. They're just appearing out of nothing. Like when occasionally, I look at Facebook and a news feed flashes up, just appearing out of nothing. Candle appearing out of nothing. But from here, I can't see the benefit of seeing things from different perspectives, because it would still be the same happiness. This aliveness is just all forms, but it's one energy. It's the one energy. Seeing things from different angles and perspectives is the same energy as not seeing it from different angles and perspectives. To me, it's all the one energy, so it doesn't matter what happens within it. There's no importance. Kiel, it sounds like a projection, like me projects other me's views. Me views projects other views. Yeah. The me projects other me's. That's right. Here, there are no other me's. There's no other me's. There's just life. It's all the one life. It doesn't matter how it appears. It's irrelevant. It can appear as anything, and it's going to appear. Other son, I'm absolutely projecting, lol. Yeah, because what is separate? What's separate? A different angle or perspective would not be separate. It'd still be aliveness happening. It doesn't matter what the appearance is. It's the same appearance in different form. What a mystery. What a wonder. What a beauty. Lovely. In therapy, there is a method of seeing things differently, so one's will not suffer, but you say it all the one energy, seeing it different or not. Yes. What else would it be? Seeing things differently is life appearing as seeing things differently. I'm not saying that in therapy one shouldn't do that, but it's still the case. There is no others. There's no others. There's other bodies. There's other characters. Characters we love. Characters we don't know. There's no me's in these characters. There's no separation. There's no separation in anything. There is no one unity of consciousness. I don't mean that. This one consciousness, hippie love consciousness, holding hands thing. As if that's ever going to happen. But there's no separate people. Lol, hippie love is the best. Yeah, I mean, I love hippie love too. I'm a bit of a hippie, really. But I certainly don't see these separate me's who are one consciousness. Wahoo, it's amazing. It is amazing. And on that note, I'm going to finish this talk and I will be back next Sunday. And I'll see some of you on Wednesday. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really enjoyed this communication with you guys. It's beautiful. Thank you, Sheila. Good luck with your wobbling about. Okay then. Lots of love. Bye.